Hey guys, how the hell are you? Welcome back to Arnold Drinks. My name is Arnold, and tonight I drink. So tonight I've decided to revisit one of the bottles I've previously reviewed and that's been sitting on my shelf for a little bit. I did not have a great initial reaction with it. I felt like it just did not at all live up to expectations, live up to hype, etc. So I figured, let's leave it on the shelf, let's see if it matures a little bit, let's see if it settles a little bit. If anything changes about it over time now that the bottle's been opened. I am of course talking about my bottle of Blanton's, that stalwart of Buffalo Trace that everyone and their mom is always hunting for. That one that always causes everybody to pop into their local liquor stores for the very, very first time ever and without a shred of dignity go up to the liquor guy and go, "Hey man, you got anything allocated in the back?" We're talking about that bottle, the Holy Hand Grenade with the little racehorsey on the top that's called Blanton's. And, I know I'm kind of taking on a little bit of an attitude here, but I honestly kind of hated this bottle when I first tried it. It is what it is. Ultimately, I don't want anything that's crap on my shelf. I don't want anything that a lot of other people would consider to be a drain pour. So I want to give this another fair shot. I want to see if my taste has changed over time, if my palate has changed. I want to see if the juice inside the Holy Crystalline Hand Grenade has changed. Let's take a crack at it, shall we? So interestingly enough, right away from the aroma, I am getting a lot different notes than I got last time around. You often hear about guys talking about how this thing has a lot of vanilla, a lot of caramel, and even a little bit of like a bubblegum and peppermint thing kind of going on. I got next to none of that when I tried this thing before. Now I'm actually detecting some of that in the aroma. In particularly that sort of spearmint bubblegum thing. There actually is a little bit of that rye sweetness that's in there. Wow. A little bit of ethanol in there too, but it's kind of helping to push that note up a little bit. Little bit of buttered toffee, but at the same time there's still something underneath everything that I'm not quite liking, like an oiled leather thing that's in the aroma. So let's give this a fair taste. Okay, so a few points on Blanton's side. It's no longer as harsh and as brutally punishing with that oak, tobacco, and leather flavor that it had when I first got the bottle. Those notes are still very much there, especially that oiled leather note. That is still very much present. The oakiness is more of a charred oakiness now at this point, coupled with a big cinnamon note that's on the back end there. But I'm actually finally getting some legit bourbon notes out of this juice now finally. So a lot of vanilla coming through on the front end right off the bat, as well as a little bit of kind of a medicinal thing that's happening too before it gives way to the oiled leather and the oakiness. Let's go in for a second sip. Little bit of, dare I say, citrus in there too. It's funny to me, like now, after not having had anything out of this bottle for a couple months now, it's sort of mellowed a little bit and it's nowhere near as sharp. It's still astringent as all hell, but it's nowhere near as sharp though. That is definitely sort of helping this to be a little bit more of a pleasant experience. I definitely would still, at this point, not really call it something I would buy again, but it's kind of getting better. Typical bourbon notes, the vanilla, the caramel, a lot more vanilla than caramel if you ask me. The cherry, sort of a medicinal rye spice kind of thing happening in there, a little bit of graininess, but honestly I think that graininess is more of just like a texture thing that's coming from that oiled leather and tobacco kind of note that was in there, that charred oak thing. It's very, very present. What's the best way I could describe this? Like, think about like the typical bourbons that I've reviewed up to this point. Think about like the stuff that I like, the more desserty stuff, the more sweeter notes. This is a lot more of a mature flavor, if that makes any sense. Like, it just tastes mature. It tastes like something that you would be sipping while smoking a cigar or something. Not that I smoke cigars, but it just is something that I could imagine someone smoking a cigar and enjoying a dram of this. Not necessarily my jam at all, to be honest with you. It's not bad now, but I mean, we're talking about something that everyone chases after. We're talking about something that retails for just barely under $60 or so, and goes for far more than that on the secondary market. It's allocated as hell. Everyone is always chasing after it, and I still don't understand the hype. I still don't think that this is worth it in the slightest. At this point, I can say that the juice inside is better, but I could honestly say that probably about 3/4 of the stuff on the shelf behind me, if not even more, is better, and in my opinion, a lot more worth drinking than this. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, because your subscriptions, your support, your comments below, your likes, they all help to grow this channel a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and it's allowing me the opportunity to pursue a new love of mine, basically in front of your eyes for your entertainment. So thank you guys so very much once again, and as always, remember, take what you do seriously, but do not take yourselves too seriously.